Have you ever felt completely exhausted and then you get home and you get to bed and your head hits that pillow and then your brain wakes up? Yeah. So if you can relate, that's what I call wired but tired. And today we're going to talk about what the body's trying to tell you and why that is happening. Hi, my name is Heather and I'm a naturopath and multi-specialty wellness practitioner. I'm owner and founder of Remarkable You Wellness, and I help uncover root causes behind fatigue and hormone imbalance and chronic stress so the body can finally heal. When people say they're wired but tired, it's really a nervous system that is just stuck in survival mode. Some of you might have heard the fight, flight, or freeze, or rest and digest. So survival mode is fight, flight, or freeze. Fight, flight, or freeze. Tongue twister there. And the body is just completely exhausted. So your body is saying, I'm tired, and your brain is running on this stress response where it's wired and ready to go because it's got to be prepared. It has to react. It needs to stay alert. And so you've probably heard of sympathetic versus parasympathetic. Like I said, that rest and digest, fight, flight, or fight. Whew, can't keep doing this. Fight, flight, or freeze. And the sympathetic dominance is where we have that fight, flight, or freeze, where we're stuck in survival mode. And so this is that influx of cortisol and adrenaline. And when that happens, your body just thinks there's this perceived threat. It sees the bear in the room, or it, has to protect itself in some manner, protect someone around it. So there's 3 different stages to this really, where you have this alarm stage where you get this high response, high cortisol, high adrenaline, and you're ready to go and you feel it. Your heart's racing, your eyes are dilated, your digestion shuts down, your breathing gets heavy, and you're ready to go fight a bear. And then after staying in this too long, that go, go, go lifestyle where most of us live, we have families to take care of and jobs to go to and sports to take kids to and all those things. And we're expected to always be on, expected to be going. And so then we end in this wired but tired stage where, like I just talked about, you have this exhausted body, but your brain is just constantly going, and the underlying pattern in the body is a stress response. And after staying in that too long, you just completely get exhausted. You're just kaput, done, and your adrenals just, they've been functioning, and pumping that cortisol, pumping that adrenaline, and they're kaput. They feel exhausted. So at this point, I have a lot of clients who come in the office and they're like, but I don't feel stressed. And so this is them still running in stress mode, but we have this awesome autopilot that kicks in, and whenever we're in fight, flight, or freeze for too long, our bodies can't sustain that as a lifestyle, and so they get this autopilot. And autopilot turns on, and it allows you to continue to move forward and survive and thrive. I don't know if I'd say thrive, but you're getting your job done. You're thinking that you're getting the job done, and you feel like you're a winner because you just keep going. You keep getting everything accomplished, and yet you're completely draining yourself, and your insides are feeling it. You might not be, and whenever that takes place, then I actually have an opportunity, luckily, to show you here in the office with a heart rate variability assessment just how much you're actually in stress mode, and people are really surprised most times to see that. So anyways, this is called, I kind of got ahead of myself, but this is called the cortisol roller coaster, so be it. It's a simple explanation where cortisol is not a bad guy. Cortisol is very much necessary for life. It's essential. Just think, whenever you are in a stressful situation, you need that cortisol and adrenaline to allow you to be productive in what you're doing. And it allows you to get exercise done. Exercise is a stress response. You want a stress response when you're exercising, or you're not going to have a successful program or session. You want to get your heart rate up, you want to get moving, you want to get grooving, and that cortisol is going to kick in. But you have to be able to balance back and turn that parasympathetic, that rest and digest, back on so that you can have balance among your systems of your nervous systems or subsystems, if you will. So the healthy roller coaster for this is where you go and you have an increase in the morning of cortisol, because this helps you to wake up in the morning. And then as the day goes on, you get this, gradual decrease of cortisol. And by nighttime, it should be nice and low so that you're calm and relaxed and you're able to fall asleep. This is not where a lot of people stay, and this is because of a disruption. And what's a disruption? Well, lots of things, but mostly it's chronic stress causes a disruption. And now this rhythm that you have, this increase and gradual decrease and then sleep, is disrupted, it's dysregulated, and now the body's confused and things are happening when they're not supposed to be happening because it's chronic stress. So then you end up feeling tired in the morning when you wake up. You have that energy crash mid-afternoon. How many at 3 o'clock just are searching for that energy, boost that they can get? A second wind at nighttime. I tell people, if you get that second wind, you should be sleeping, using that for healing. Your racing mind, when your head hits the pillow or before bed, all of a sudden it turns on and you have this monkey brain that we call it, that just will not shut off. And you can be waking up between around the 3 a.m. time period. This is where you get this cortisol spike because of this roller coaster it ends up being on. So when this happens, we want to say why do we get stuck here? Because this is, something that we want to be able to get into sympathetic systems for those times where we need it. But why do we stay there? Why can't we rebound and get back into that rest and digest? So again, I said most common would be the chronic stress. Blood sugar swings is another. So, our SAD diet, our standard American diet, is really high in sugars. Even if you think that you're not eating sugars, so many things have sugars in them, including our breads, and carbs break down into simple sugars. So we want to lean towards, balancing our blood sugar levels. Gut inflammation can cause this, as well as our hormones and our gut are really intricately connected. Mineral depletion, if we don't have the right amount of minerals in our body, which we usually get from our vegetables. A lot of people have heard the, term electrolytes. That's just a form of minerals that's used by the body. And when that's out of balance, we have these channels that guide our cells. And if we don't have the right amount, it's going to cause disruption. Lack of restorative sleep causes this. So many people stay up too late and work on projects or have that monkey brain that won't shut off. And so making sure that we get into a rhythm of good sleep. Unresolved emotional stress is a big one that I see. We don't give ourselves enough time to process, and we just kind of have to keep moving on to the next thing. So working on that. Overstimulation from screens. Screens is one of the biggest ones. Everywhere you go, right now, you're looking at a screen. And hopefully it's not at 11 o'clock at night right now. So those are different ways that we can get stuck. But luckily, our body is just incredibly intelligent. And whenever it, knows that we have danger around us, it's going to keep alert and stay prepared, as I mentioned earlier. So again, relatable signs would be difficulty falling asleep, waking up around that 3 a.m., having those racing thoughts, those afternoon crashes, seeking the sugar and the caffeine fixes like the chocolate as well. That was a big one for me. Every night after dinner, I'd want to have a little piece of chocolate, and then that little piece of chocolate turned into 2 or 3 pieces of chocolate because I was just in that fight, flight, or freeze, and it just wasn't enough to satisfy me. Feeling overwhelmed very easily, where just one more thing just kind of sets you off. Also having brain fog, you get brain fog and you feel like you don't have clear thinking, yet you have this restless energy. So it's really confusing to explain because you're wired but tired. It is not a lack of willpower. So we have to be really gracious with ourselves and just understand it is physiology. So thankfully the body can rebalance when we support it properly. And I'm here to help you figure out how to do this, right? So support your gut health is one of the biggest things I tell people because your liver helps with hormone production and processing, and along with your adrenals and that whole system. And so together we just want to make sure your gut health is connected, and you have that gut brain connection as well, where your gut makes your neurotransmitters. There's so much that takes place. It's really a web, not a linear kind of thinking. So decrease chronic stress load. That's a big one. Like, I can't tell you, like, don't have a family and don't have a job and just take stress out of your life. That's not easily done. However, we can do things that can help you decrease that. One of them is being able to set boundaries, okay? We live in a society where it's constant. If somebody sends you a message, they expect something right back immediately because of our text messaging and emails, and it's so easy to stay connected now again. Today, it's harder to step back and just disconnect and give yourself that rest and time. And we kind of, for people who are very much go lifestyle and very, strong people who want to get a lot done and accomplish, that's great leaders. However, you have to understand your boundaries, and that rest is just as important. So there's a funny little meme that I saw that if you should spend 20 minutes out in nature, but if you're stressed, you should spend 2 hours or something like that. It's true. So one of the things that you can do to help decrease this and create boundaries, I use a batch flower to help me set boundaries and to be able to say no to people. I want to be in service to people. You want to help people. However, whenever that just is the, extra straw and you're saying yes to everybody and everything, it really spreads you thin and doesn't give you the boundary to protect yourself and to balance your lifestyle. So using a batch flower to help you say no and not feel guilty about it. Right? And to be able to take that time. Improving your sleep rhythm. There's so many people who fall asleep at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. And that's just a little bit too far past when you should really be, in a sleep pattern. So if that's you, I don't want you to all of a sudden come back and try and go to bed at, 9:30, 10 o'clock. You're going to lay there and you're going to stare at the ceiling, and you're going to be so restless, and you're going to be frustrated, and it's just going to cause a, complete havoc. And you're not going to be happy with me. So just try and do it increments at a time. Instead of, cutting back that hour or 2 hours, have a goal of 11 o'clock and do that for a week. And then have a goal of 10:50, right? Like, go to bed just 10 minutes sooner and take a couple deep breaths. Turn the lights down. Turn off the screens. Diffuse some essential oils that are calming to you. Have some light music playing in the background that relaxes you. Any type of routine that you can do, your body really responds well to routine. So making it a rhythm, and it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to need to do this repeatedly for a few weeks. So if you start just 10 minutes and do that for a week, and then shave 10 more minutes and do that for a week and shave 10 more minutes, you're going to ease your body into it gently and actually have a lasting result, and it's going to improve your sleep pattern. You want to stabilize your blood sugars like we talked about with food and your diet. Maybe don't eat that bagel or piece of bread or sweet dessert that's full of carbs and sugars at nighttime or before bed. You're going to have this imbalance in blood sugars. Mineral replenishment, so eating your vegetables or taking some really good electrolytes, get that hydration back up, and just good nervous system support. So one of the things that I do is for my nervous system, I do many things for my nervous system. One of the things I do is what I like to call cortisol cocktail, and so, or my pink drink. And I actually take this powder, it's full of nootropics, and it really just takes you out of that fight, flight, or freeze. And so I take about like a little half scoop here and I put it in my water. It tastes delicious. And for me, again, getting that mineral nutrient, these are my electrolytes, and they keep me hydrated and my minerals in balance. And I actually just add that to my little cortisol cocktail here. And I mix that up. Got my little handy dandy blender. And once you mix it up, you have this beautiful drink. It tastes good. It does not increase my sugars. There's no sugars added. It's a clean product, and it actually has just a little hint of caffeine in there, which helps keep me going and I don't get that afternoon slump. So that's one of my little tricks or tidbits that I do. But one of the first simple things that you can do to balance your nervous system is just to feel safe again. You just have to remind it, like we talked about routine and doing that. You have to remind it that it's safe. And you can't just say, I'm safe, everything's good. It doesn't understand logic. So you have to show it. So one of those things is, if you're a go, go, go person, which I'm one of those people, I'm not going to stop my work. I'm not going to, ditch my kids, anything like that. So I'm going to keep going and doing these things. But in between tasks, when I'm waiting for an email to load, when I'm in between clients, when I'm driving to soccer or track or wherever I'm going, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm just going to breathe out. And I'm going to say, okay, that task is done. I completed that. And now I'm on to the next one. And what that does is, after a while, when you have these small moments building up over time, your body starts to go, oh, okay, like I'm not in emergency mode or stress mode every single moment of the day. You're getting these tiny little breathers, so to speak. And I know it sounds little and minute, but when you repeat these, when you do little things that are, over and over as part of your daily routine, they really add up. It's like the rungs of a ladder to get you to the top. They really add up and make a change. So that's one thing you can do, right? Take just a moment in between your tasks. Like I said, while that email's loading or being sent, take a deep breath and say, okay, that task is done, and then go on to the next thing. Another thing that we have here at Remarkable You Wellness are heart rate variability assessments. And it's non-invasive, and it actually just shows you what % of your day is rest and digest, what % of your day you're in fight, flight, or freeze, and what % you have autopilot turned on. And this is really an awareness for people who are like, yeah, but I don't feel stressed, or just to get that confirmation. And then what happens is you can see this, and then as you do things like the cortisol cocktail drink that I have here, or you take walks, or you use amino acids, or you do a different bedtime routine, then you're going to be able to reassess that and see, is it working? It makes the invisible visible. And so you can actually see your progress, because a lot of times what our goals are, we don't really recognize. We kind of forget where we were. And so to see it, right in front of us, you can actually see the progress that you're making, and you can say, okay, this is working, and I just need to have time and consistency. So many people are wanting that quick fix where they just feel good immediately, and I can tell you there just is no such thing. This is about lifestyle. This is about routines. This is what we do for ourselves every single day when we show up and we do something good for our body. Other assessments and tools that we have here at the office is sound therapy, and you can see the bed behind me. This is vibroacoustic therapy. You can come in and relax on the vat here. You can use nutrients to build a healthy foundation. So your, the nutrition that you get from your food and also from supplementation. You can have a wellness plan that incorporates batch flowers and homeopathy, and even the nutraceuticals, like I talked about the cortisol cocktail before. So if you relate to all this, I know it's kind of a long video, but if you relate, please know this: your body is not broken, okay? It is communicating with you. So we just need to be really good listeners and find out what it's trying to tell us. You want to support it at that root level of healing. And I can tell you that when you do that, when you listen, and when you make those little changes, when you look back, you end up having a remarkable journey that is just amazing, and healing is absolutely possible. So if this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Just go down below and say, yep, resonated, and tell me your story. And share with me some of the things that you do that really help to get you out of fight, flight, or freeze, or help to make you feel calm and relaxed. Sometimes that most powerful thing that we can do is just to give ourselves time and permission to rest. And I just, that's something that I share with my clients a lot, and I even have to remind myself as well, is to give that permission. It's okay to sit down. I don't have to have an excuse of, oh, well, I got everything done for the day, so I'm going to take a rest, or, oh, I'll get up and do it later. Nope, I'm just giving myself permission right here, right now, in the present moment, to just take a breath and to know I'm doing a good job, okay? So thanks for spending this time with me. I really appreciate you. And if you'd like to learn more and get more tips on natural health, please hit that subscribe button. And that way you can know whenever we post new videos as well. And you can learn how to live remarkably and heal naturally. And now it's time for me to give myself some permission and go get my relaxation on now. Thank you.